Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and the card reveal season at Murder Castle Nathria continues with a potentially really terrifying rogue location. Like, it's scary. I hope it's not going to be as terrifying as I think it could be revealed, as well as I wanted to go over some other news tidbits. Pandaren Importer, Revert possibly happening. Is it going to happen this expansion? Next one, we'll talk about it, as well as just some general insight from the Hearthstone team that I just found to be rather fascinating. And, well, if you want to win some cards, you want to win a mega bundle, well, 2 mega bundles, 2 regular pre-orders, all you have to do, we have a giveaway going on right now in the description below. All you have to do is like and comment in the video in the description below, subscribe to the channel, and for every 1,000 subs until the reveal season is over, I'm adding another mega bundle to give away. So hit that subscribe button, make me go broke, make me give away all the bundles. So let's take a look at this new location. This new card actually has me pretty concerned. It's a very toxic design of a card in my opinion. Sin Stone Graveyard, 2-mana location for rogue. It has 2 durabilities, so you get 2 uses of this. You will summon a stealth ghost with stats equal to the number of cards you play this turn. It's like a mini Edwin Van Cleef. It's like the old biteweed from back in the day. And yeah, you play a bunch of cards. So you got your preps, your backstabs, your shadow steps, all your cheap cards. You can discount things with Efficient Octobot, which is still 3 mana, thankfully. And then you just summon 1 massive stealth minion that your opponent cannot interact with. And then you can slap on some Cold Bloods, a Battleground Battlemaster to it, and kill your opponent, and they cannot deal with it. The only way I can think of dealing with it is probably like the Starfish that mass silences. I'm not sure if it'll silence the stats on the ghost. I don't know if it'll be just its base stat line or a buff on it. I'm assuming it'd be base stat line, but I don't have an image for it yet. But regardless, this type of card to me is not my favorite style of design, because if it's good, right? If this card's really good, it's super toxic. You cannot interact with a giant threat. It's going to be very frustrating. And if the card is bad, then it's kind of a waste of a card. I don't know. I'm worried about this card. And in Wild, you have stuff like Counterfeit Coin, Secret Passage, all these busted cheap cards that can really utilize it. You might just run like all your 0 drops. You put this in that Edwin deck. You already have that Edwin scam deck that kind of works there, where you just you play the 4-mana Edwin and just chain it with a bunch of 0-mana cards. You can do that with Sin Stone Graveyard and get another giant threat. So yeah, this card has me potentially really scared. I don't love the design of it. I think rogue players will like it because it's like toxic and like it is rogue in spamming a bunch of cheap cards. I just don't like the stealth aspect. The rest I'm fine with. I don't like the stealth aspect, but yeah, it could spawn its own little archetype. I don't think in standard right now, with the current card draw package and like the cheap cards they have, I don't think it's a major threat yet, but don't sleep on it. This card does terrify me. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 in standard. I think it might pop up. It might work out. And if it does, again, it's super non-interactive in nature, and I'm not super happy about that. And in Wild, I'll give it a 3 there too, for that strategy I mentioned. But that strategy is pretty niche. It's not very strong. But again, the card does scare me just for its lack of interactivity. And you guys know how I feel about that in the game. I feel like that's something that's very frustrating when it's powerful to be in the game. But we'll see. Again, it's not +2/+2 for every card, so it takes a while to amp up, but still. It has that potential. And then we have a possible, we wanted to go over a couple news things since I'm trying to splice it into the card review stuff so you guys keep up to date. I wanted to ask basically one of the devs on Twitter, remember Pandaren Importer? This was originally 2 mana. It was nerfed because of an OTK with Rogue, because of a small standard card pool with Shadow Step. You could basically just chain Shadow Steps over and over, and rather than nerf Shadow Step, which I just don't love the card, but they nerfed Pandaren from 2 to 3 mana. So I'm like, well, the next expansion's introducing more cards. Can they possibly revert it? However, I did note that I felt like it could be an issue with Prince Renathal, because you could have 40 cards, you can run all the spells, the additional spells, and still kind of circumvent that. And unfortunately, Aleko, who is responsible as like communicating all of the balance changes, said it will lead to the same issue, but they have been monitoring this and will revert this as soon as that is no longer the case. So they are still planning on reverting Pandaren Importer to 2 mana for whenever Rogue can't abuse that OTK. Like, isn't that just kind of a sign that Shadow Step is the problem? It's been a problem for so long that, you know, every other class has to not have access to this card for 2 mana because Rogue's a little pain in the butt and gets cards like Sinstone Graveyard. But yeah, if you're wondering about Pandaren Importer, it will eventually get reverted. Maybe next expansion after this one, the 3rd expansion of the year, but it's not going to happen this upcoming one. And the last thing I wanted to go over was just a really insightful thread. I will link this below if you want to take a closer look. But this confused me. When Sire Denathrius was revealed, I was like, is it like an AoE or is it random? Because normally when it's a random effect, it's a split amongst enemies. So Leo kind of wanted to elaborate why they didn't have split, and I thought it was really interesting. I'm not going to go over the whole thread. It's actually quite long. It's like 14, but basically the text block might read a little bit off. That's because the text block is missing the word split, which we've worded similar effects in the past, but trying to fit that plus lifesteal plus infuse led to a pretty cramped text box we weren't happy with. And you can even show it here where it's like really long, right? It's Battlecry, deal 5 damage, randomly split among all enemies, endlessly infused, deal 1 more. This is the closest we could have gotten. The thing is, endlessly infused 1 is now split across multiple lines, which is something we avoid if we can because it affects readability. And we talked about other solutions like removing lifesteal, but then you're hurting the card. That would really suck. Or changing the effect to be less wordy. But we really like the gameplay of the card as is, and in the end, solid gameplay is greater than a perfect text box as long as you can still understand the effect. One example where we actually did cut corners with wording while keeping gameplay was with Primordial Wave. If you compare to Evolve and Devolve, you'll missing words like all or random. Technically, it should have those words, and that's true. It doesn't say anything about random. These ones say random minions, and I didn't even notice that. So that is true. They cut the corners and it kind of worked out. So I just thought it was interesting. And he brought up an example that I see complained about a lot. For example, I see a lot of comments online about recruit and how we should evergreen it and how we should still use the effect. We actually don't save a ton on text space by using recruit. And the benefit of it, spelling it out ensures new players don't have to know what the card does, because if you look at gather your party, it just says recruit a minion. So recruit means you basically summon a minion from your deck, right? This would just say rush death rattle, summon a beast from your deck. All this would say is recruit a beast. Like, you're saving 2 words. That's basically it, right? So that's a good point. Like, you really don't need to have that. So I just thought the thread was interesting. Giving a shout out to Leo. He was part of that Kibler reveal video, and yeah, so pretty cool stuff. There's more cards tomorrow. We'll have a regular discussion video and then a bonus video talking about the new card tomorrow. I think it might be a legendary weapon, possibly. Could be pretty cool. And hopefully you guys enjoy the video. And if you did, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Stay salty, my friends.